Good morning, BAM fam. Jeremy Knight, your favorite Austin realtor. Good to see you all. Let me know where you are tuning in from. On today's hot sheet, I am discussing the PPI, Producer Price Index report for April. Good news there. Renter affordability, good news there. And weekly unemployment. Today is Thursday, May 15th. I'm Jeremy Knight, and the hot sheet starts now. You know, I started warming up before this by saying the skeleton uses shampoo in the shower, and I totally messed up the hot sheet. Oh, goodness gracious. Good morning from beautiful Austin, Texas. It's another wonderful day. Going to be 105 degrees today in Austin, Texas. Let me know where you are tuning in from. Justin, what up? Good to see you. We got in the house. Awesome. Israel, good to see you from Hollister. Good morning from Central Utah. Sadie, good to see you again. Welcome back from yesterday. Spencer, good morning. Man, good to see all of you in here. My girl, Heather, we got to see you yesterday here at Austin at the event we did yesterday. Okay, let's get in. Welcome to the Hot Sheet, the industry's only live daily news show on the internet, brought to you exclusively by BAM. The Hot Sheet covers what you need to know about the real estate industry in a 24-hour time period. For access to the charts and slides we'll be reviewing today and every day, sign up for BAMX. I hear that when Haley puts my link in the comment section there, and you take that and you go use it to sign up for school, magical things will happen. So this is where you get access to all the Hot Sheet daily downloads, courses, bi-weekly masterminds, and the BAMX community when the internet works. Sorry, cheap shot at Byron. His internet did not work the other day. So sorry, Byron. Byron, I want to ask you a question. Should I get a part-time home in Naples? The wife is saying we need a part-time home in Florida. If you would move to Florida part-time, tell me where you would move. I'm still curious. I asked this on my Facebook. I've asked it a few places. And so far, my good friend Erica says I should move to Jupiter and be near her. Okay. So Susan, good to see you from Connecticut. All right, everybody, let's get into the PPI. So according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, Haley, we got any charts for this? The producer PPI index, Producer Price Index for final demand fell 0.05% in April 2025, the largest drop since 2020, driven by 0.07% decline in service prices. Year over year, final demand prices rose 2.4%, while PPI increased to 2.9%. But overall, good news. And I had to go look up. I'm like, is this actual good news? Is it bad news? If it's falling, what is this? And I went over to Gemini this morning and I pulled this up and it says, why is this considered good? Easing inflation pressures. The decrease in producer prices suggests that inflationary pressures are easing at the wholesale level. This is significant because producer prices often lead to change in consumer prices. A decrease in PPI can be an early indicator of potential slowdown in consumer inflation, potential for future consumer price relief. If producers are facing lower costs, they might be less likely to pass on price increases to consumers, potentially leading to lower prices for goods and services. Possible implications for a Federal Reserve policy, and this is where this might be helpful for us realtors. A slowdown in inflation could potentially prompt the Federal Reserve to consider adjusting its monetary policy, possibly leading to lower interest rates. That is all good news if that holds. Now, I'm been in the world long enough to see 1 month we see a decrease and the next month an increase. Who knows what's going to happen next with all the volatility going on in the world. So PPI for final demand fell 0.5% in April, unchanged in March, up 0.02% in February. On the unadjusted basis, PPI rose 2.4% for the 12-month ending in April. Nicole, good morning. Good to see you. I always got to jump back to the comments and see what everybody's saying in the comments. I have a question for you. Do you care on the daily basis, all of you watching, do you care about the percentages increase or decrease in PPI? Is this something that you want to hear about every week? I'm just curious, because I like to talk about what you want to hear. And I know BAM and the BAM community want to talk about what you want to hear. So just curious if this is something that you are weekly interested in. Okay, final demand services down 0.0% in April, largest drop since indexed inception in 2009 in December. It's a long time ago. Machinery and vehicle wholesaling was down 6.1%. Not a shock there. Other declines: portfolio management, food and alcohol, wholesaling, system software, publishing, traveler accommodations, airline, passenger services. Increase outpatient was up 0.3%. That's not good because I'm literally dealing with a son with a big gigantic hole in his knee because he decided to drive his bike in the rain downhill 33 miles an hour on his e-bike and then fall off. So I'm still dealing with that. Thanks for everybody that's checked in on me on that. He is doing much better. Overall unchanged in April after a 0.9% in March. For final goods, product level details, increased general purpose machinery and equipment's up 1%. Major drop in chicken and eggs down 39.4%. I think yesterday we were talking about this, that eggs were down, I think 12% or 11%. So seeing that it's down 39.4%, are you watching the egg prices like a hawk? And have you seen egg prices go down in your other area? Other declines though: gasoline, gas fuels, diesel fuel, primary basic organic chemicals. Okay, let's see. Anything else in here that would reflect us in real estate? No. All right, I'm done with PPI. If you're done with PPI, yeah, you know me. Is that a no? That's not what it was. All right, let's go to the Zillow renter affordability. Haley, I think we got some cool charts for this. So this is what we want to hear in the real estate area, right? As realtors, what's happening with rents? So Zillow reports that renters now need to earn over $80,000 to afford the typical U.S. rental, up $20,000 from 2020. Not the greatest of news, as rents have risen 28.7% for apartments and 42.9% for single family homes. I guess if we're buying real estate and increasing the rental rates nationally, that's pretty decent if you're buying investments. In eight major markets, including San Jose, New York, they required income to stay under the 30% rent burden threshold now exceeds $100,000. So if you look at these, you have Miami, you have New York, you have Boston, San Diego, my old stomping grounds. What up, Dan? Los Angeles, Riverside, San Francisco. I'm not surprised that most of these are in California, San Jose. So the number of markets where renters need to earn $100,000 to afford rent. Now, why I said earlier at the top that this is good is it's good for me because I'm going to talk about the Austin market in a second right here. And so for you, I would be talking about to your consumers how, rental rates going up or down are going to impact the real estate market in your area locally. And if you don't understand how that works, make sure you follow the hot sheet because we'll tell you. Rent and income trends. Typical asked rent, all units. The average for April was $2,024. Isn't it wild that rent is $2,000? I was having a conversation. Heather was there. Somebody was saying that, yeah, my 24-year-old son just moved back in with me. And Heather was like, wow, that's wild. Why? And she's like, well, rents in Austin are about $2,000 a month for an apartment. How can my 24-year-old son afford that just out of college? So fair enough point. So month over month, 0.5% increase. Year over year, 3.4% increase. And since the pandemic, typical ask rents is up 35.4%, showing that purchasing real estate and owning single family homes and multifamily homes is still a good investment. And if you bought, investment properties during the pandemic like I did, it's great. Jeremy, are you going to be getting a membership at the Austin Surf Club? Justin, what up? Thank you for asking that question. That is a great question to ask. I'll answer that one in a second. Rents for single family homes are up to $2,200 a month. Now, the challenge is if you buy a home now, the interest rates are around 7%, 7.5%, which we'll talk about later. So if you're trying to buy investment properties now, multifamily might be a better route to go. Are you investing? Tell me in the comment section. And if you're helping clients, what are they investing in? That would be helpful for everybody to see. So those are up almost the same as the others. So 0.5% month over month, 4% year over year, and 42, almost 43% since the pandemic. Multifamily rents are $1,858 a month. So that's an increase of almost 1% month over month, 3% year over year, and almost 30%. So 28.7% since the pandemic. Median household income is about $82,000, which you need to afford, which is an increase of 22.5% since April of 2020. Income needed to afford the typical U.S. rental is $80,100, up 3%, 3.3% year over year, and 34% since the pandemic. But here's it gets a little interesting. So rent burden and affordability threshold. Rent burden threshold is about 30% of the income. That is a lot. Holy smokes, that's a lot. Current national rent burdens is almost 30% of the median income. Pre-pandemic was 27.4, so we're at 29.6 at the moment. A renter making median U.S. income and paying the typical rent is just under the rent burden. So let's go to the least and most affordable markets. And I know you were asking, I wonder if my market is the least or most affordable. Well, hopefully it is one of these. If you live in New York City, income needed $144,900. Renter affordability is almost 55% of the median household income. Wild. San Jose, $136,000. Rent affordability is 25.2% of the median. Boston, San Francisco, San Diego, all of these are up over $100,000, as we see on the chart right here. Los Angeles, Miami, Riverside. Now let's go to the most affordable. Tell me if you're going to live here. Buffalo, New York, $55,000, renter affordability of 22.3%. Okay, here's the next one, Oklahoma City. Now, I usually would have a joke about Oklahoma. Since I'm in Texas, I won't. But just know that Oklahoma, it is said that their motto is it's okay because they couldn't spell mediocre. Is that true? If you're from Oklahoma, tell me in the comment section. I don't know. I'm just reporting on the news. It says this. Haley literally wrote this on here for me to say, right, Haley? Okay. So Oklahoma, income needed. I could hear her laughing in the background. Income needed $55,600. So this is one of the most affordable, right? 22.5%. Louisville, Kentucky. You got Louisville, $56,000 at 23%. St. Louis, Missouri, $57,000. Birmingham, Alabama, $57,000. Cleveland, Ohio. Good to see you in the comment section there. Cleveland, Ohio, $58,000. San Antonio, Trey, what's up, Trey? $58,500. Renter affordability of 22.7. One of the cheapest. Minneapolis, Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee. Minneapolis is not in Tennessee. I don't know how I got there. Memphis, Tennessee, $58,000. Milwaukee, $59,000. Pittsburgh, $59,000. Detroit, no way. Detroit, number 11, you need $59,000. That's 23.5. I thought Detroit was cheap. Don't throw Haley under the bus. Yeah, sorry about that one, Haley. I did kind of throw you under the bus. It was not, just so you're aware, it was not in the notes. I made up that joke. It's all on me. Okay. Los Angeles. So rent markets with rent declines month over month. I get you're never going to guess this one. Los Angeles, negative 0.01%. Single family rent declines in Providence, Los Angeles, Riverside, and New Orleans between 0.2% up to 0.4%. Haley runs this shiz. Yes, true. She rocks. Multifamily rent declines in Oklahoma City, down 0.2%. Phoenix, wow, 0.1%. Jacksonville, 0.1%. Markets with the highest annual rent increases. If you are on this list and you have units that you own, you're probably going to be happy to hear this. Hartford, Connecticut, 6% increase. Cleveland, 6%. Chicago, 5.9. Providence, 5.3. Kansas City, 5.3. Single family homes, Cleveland, 7.5%. Chicago, 6.5%. Indianapolis, you hit the list, 6.5%. Los Angeles, it's interesting because a minute ago, I bet it's got to be different counties, right? Los Angeles, 6.2% increase in single family. Hartford, 6.1%. Multifamily units, you got Hartford, Providence, Chicago, Columbus, Milwaukee. Now, here's where I got excited about this entire list. If you find this just amazing, write a 1 in the comment section to make sure I know you're alive. Okay. Rent concessions, 34.8% of rental listings offered concessions in April 2025. Let me say that again. Rent concessions, 34.8% of rental listings offered concessions. I can guarantee you most of those are probably in Austin, Texas. Down 5%, 5 percentage points month over month. So where were they? They were at concessions decreased in 47 metros. Biggest drops: San Jose, Hartford, Kansas City, Milwaukee, Salt Lake City. Concessions increased month over month. Here's the cities: Charlotte. I think I could live in Charlotte. Could you live in Charlotte? Tampa. I definitely could potentially live in Tampa. And Austin, Texas, 0.1%. Austin, Texas. So housing costs have surged since pre-pandemic, with rents growing quite a bit faster than wages. This often leaves little room for other expenses, making it particularly difficult for those hoping to save for a down payment on a future home. High upfront costs are often overlooked, which can keep renters in their current homes. I think I'm pretty sure on BAM here, they've gone through the number of renters that, I know Byron's talked about this, the number of renters that want their next step to be a home. It's a pretty high percent. It was like 60%. It was a lot. I did a video about this on my channel. In fact, if you want, at 10 o'clock, I'm doing agent tactics. Just shoot me a DM on Instagram. We're going to talk about podcasting, how to do podcasting with Matt Patullo and Roland Osage. That's at 10 o'clock today, if you're interested. All right, let's look at the Department of Labor reported 229,000 seasonal adjusted initial claims for the week ending May 10th, with a 4-week average raising 230,500. The insured unemployment rate held steady at 1.2%, with 1.88 million continuing claims filed for the week ending May 3rd. Initial claims, 229,000 unchanged. Previous week revision was 228,000. 4-week moving average is 230,500, up by 3,200 from previous weeks. So not a whole lot, but a little bit. Not seasonally adjusted claims is at 205,000, down 1.3%. So that's decent if you're following the unemployment rate. Expected decrease by seasonal factors, you're looking at a 1.3% negative decline. I think negative declines and decline, negative and decline. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's been a long morning already. Okay. Seasonally adjusted insured unemployment, 1.88 million, up 9,000 from the previous week, revised levels of 1.872 million. Yeah, let's see. Seasonally adjusted, we're at 1.7. Okay, so state level insured unemployment rates. We are looking at New Jersey is 2.4, California 2.2, Washington 2.1, Rhode Island 2%, District of Columbia, isn't that Washington, D.C., 1.8, Massachusetts 1.8, Illinois 1.7, New York 1.7, Minnesota 1.6, Nevada, City of the Lights 1.6, Oregon 1.6, Puerto Rico. Man, I messed that one up. Puerto Rico. I'm going to Spain soon. Not Spain. Where are we going? We're going to France soon. And so my wife's trying to learn French, and I was speaking to her in Spanish. So that did not work well. State level changes in initial claims. We're looking at Michigan, 6,869, California, plus 1,187, Maryland, 1,000, Texas, 930, Florida, 584. Largest decreases, you're looking at New York, Massachusetts, New Jersey, South Carolina. Good to see you in the chat. And Connecticut. All right, where are we at? Charlotte is dangerous. I'm curious, Jason, why you think Charlotte is dangerous. Before this, Haley and I were talking about Charleston, South Carolina, and how beautiful that place is. All right, let's pop up the 10-year treasury. Where are we at? We saw a little bit of a decline last I looked yesterday. A little bit of a decline today. Hopefully we see rates drop a little bit. Where were we on the 30-year fixed? Let's see where we were there. Oh, it didn't go. Not as fast. We were up a little bit, 6.95 yesterday. The day before 6.92. So rates a little bit going up. Hopefully we don't really hit the sevens by the end of the week. Hopefully we see some reprieve with this PPI. I know I looked at the markets this morning at the futures. Here's what the futures were saying. I'm sure the stock market's know it opens, 9 o'clock. So here's what some of the futures said. Stock market day Dow and S&P 500 futures fall with Walmart earnings. So Walmart, this is probably part of the PPI. So Walmart was down a little bit with a bad earnings call. Yeah, the stock market, the dip. Trump says India offered no tariffs on U.S. goods. Let's see. United Health plunges on criminal probe. I wonder what United Health did. Lots of good stuff. I'm curious, do you look at this stuff? Do you look at Gemini? Do you look at this every morning? I like to Google what's happening in the real estate market. And I do that by watching BAM in the morning. Make sure you get your subscription to school. There's lots of good stuff happening there. Aubrey, good morning from Asheville. All right. So I put out a video yesterday on Instagram about Matthew McConaughey and a few other celebrities. Literally, there's a whole membership surf club going out in East Austin. And I'm curious, $1.25 million for the membership. Would you buy for a surf club in Texas? Would you buy a membership for $1.25 million and be around Matthew McConaughey? Interesting. Now, counterpoint, where are they going to get the water? I said Gulf of America. That's where we're ending it today on the hot sheet. We'll see you back tomorrow, Monday. We'll see you back on Monday.